Hello, Planet Watchers. Welcome back to Planet Watch. This time, the Sagittarius 2024 edition. Hey, Mary Jane.
Moving along really fast, huh? Hello,
God,
everybody.
yes, this year has just
Oh,
sped by.
no kidding. There's been a lot going on, and from time to time we think, "Oh my God, will this ever be over?" And then it's over really fast, and so
Right?
it's
I mean, there's
kind
been
of
a lot of years in this year.
yes, I think so too. It's been concentrated.
Oh my God. And it's been really hard for a lot of people. A lot of people I know are just struggling.
I know. It's been a grunt year. That's what it is. It's just up.
And then I'm looking at what you posted on the Radiate Wellness LLC page on Facebook. Go check that out, Planet Watchers, and hit like. And it looks like we don't have a break. We don't have a reprieve in Sagittarius. Is that true?
It's rather true. There are still some extremely conflictual energies at work here that are going to be just extremely difficult to smooth out and make them work for us. We'll try, but you know how this works. We have to look at what's available and turn it around for us. See if we can fix into the pattern as gracefully as possible. And that's really what goes on from an astrological view, just trying to get into the flow.
Right. It's like
And
at the weather forecast for the
well, right.
ahead. And then it's like, oh, it's supposed to rain Wednesday. Probably better get all of the mowing and raking done Tuesday. Right. So
Yeah,
you look ahead and you plan ahead.
that's it. That's it. And if you see huge blockages, you sit back and wait for the snow to melt or whatever.
Right.
And, just get in touch with nature. That's what we're after here. So we'll see
Right.
if I can help.
All right. What do we got going on?
Well, let's talk about the big picture first. I like to place the heavy planets that are touching on. This is the slow planets, huh? The ones that are outside of Saturn. The heavier slow planets fix the atmosphere for the whole world, actually. This is what our civilizations, plural, have to deal with in the next month, year, whatever. We're talking months here, which is seems like quite enough for the moment. The first one that strikes me as being a little awkward um, is actually a very interesting and quite ephemeral connection between Pluto and Ceres that are in a conflictual conjunction. They're tight together right now. Now, Ceres and Pluto brings us back to the story of Ceres and her daughter, who was kidnapped and taken by Pluto into the underworld, where she
Persephone?
became his mistress, his live-in.
Was that Persephone?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And when this was going on, of course, this is when Ceres, whose name in Greece in the first myth is Demeter, which I think is a better name actually for her, who's in charge of growing things, our culture, agriculture, all of our harvests and so on. And she just flipped. You know, her daughter was taken away. She went running to the gods, her fellow gods, and on Olympus, and said, "Hey, this can't go on. You've got to give me my daughter back." And they said, "Oh, that's going to be really hard to do because Pluto, he has his rights as well. He's a member of the club." And so it's going to be hard to fight this out. Well, she said, if that's the way it is, I'm not cooperating with your agriculture anymore. You can all just starve. I don't even care. So, with this in mind, they went to Pluto and said, well, can we work something out? Meanwhile, uh, Proserpine, who's living there in hell, says, "Hey, I kind of like it here. This Hades is a wonderful lover. I'm free of mother's, overwhelming concern for my existence, and leave me alone. This is fine." Well, this wasn't sitting too well with Demeter either. And what they finally got together with Zeus and with all the other gods was that Persephone would come home and live with her mother for 6 months, and then go back and live with her lover for 6 months. And so that's how we have the change in seasons. That's how crops grow. And finally, everybody goes away happy. But what we see in astrology, when Ceres, which is the name of this little asteroid, that seems to have a lot in common with Demeter and with this whole story. When she's up here tight with Pluto, this brings it up all the questions of this particular story. That is to say, the mother-daughter relationships, uh, possession, possessivity, uh, sexual and otherwise mature independence. All of these questions come, and how to let go uh, of being in control all the time. This is something that Ceres had to learn. So when we see this connection, and this is in the end now, this end part of November and a little bit into December as well, we're going to see growing tension all month, actually, as far as mother-daughter relationships. I'm also looking at mentors and their acolytes, people in school, in university who are dependent on or looking to be dependent on their teachers, their doctorate controllers.
Advisors.
There's a new search for freedom, and it's going to be growing through this period. All month, we're seeing this new take on these codependent relationships. I
Mhm.
think it's going to be important, and I think this search for new freedom is also in the leitmotif for this end of year, certainly, and for next year as well.
So a search for freedom and a striving for freedom.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
very important. Now, this is not going to be easy because at the same time, and virtually all month as well, um, Pluto is opposite Mars. So
Mm.
none of this is just totally carefree. There's always some conflict of interest. I really want to be my own person, mom. You know, let me go. I'm fine where I am. I can figure this out by myself, and that's going to be the rather difficult lesson for a lot of controlling parents, instructors, bosses, people who want to control virtually their acolytes,
Right.
people who are
But I'm
dependent
thinking
on them.
globally, we've got Ukraine, we've got Gaza, these people around the world, well, people who could stand to be deported here. People
Right.
are oppressed, wanting freedom, and the people in power don't really, that's not in their best interest.
They're Well, exactly. Yeah, this is where the Pluto-Mars opposition that we already saw last month in a certain context is still going on. It's still extremely conflictual. It's very warlike, and just sort of sets the stage for ongoing conflicts on the in the different camps of war. Certainly this month. There are some very hard dates. One is the 5th of December, um, also the 11th of December and the 18th of December are extremely difficult. I think we're going to see escalation, yet more escalation in the war camps. One date that touches me, especially on the 5th of December, seems to be hard on our personal relationships and on uh, cohabitation. This is a period where it's going to be a test period in a lot of circumstances of cohabitation, planning a marriage, moving house, uh, who wants what, and how are you going to find compromise in this extremely conflictual attitude. I'm thinking that's going to be a difficult time that first week in December. So be calm with each other, like each other, go into a compromise mode where you can, and find out what you can or cannot do together in couples relationships, in family relationships. I'm especially thinking of family relationships here. The other another attitude of Venus, actually, that's not helping it out through the 22nd to the 29th of November is it's distant. Venus's distance from the sun. You know, as Venus is going around in its ecliptic, it can go up to 45 degrees away from the sun. And this is always a period where we're feeling unloved, misunderstood, out in the cold, all by ourselves. Especially this Venus in Capricorn at present is doing her "oh poor me" number kind of thing, and is causing, in this mode as well, is causing problems on the home front. You just think, why isn't he paying any attention to me? Why isn't he listening to what I really want and need? He's such an egoist. He's not paying any attention to me. You know, this is the the classic definition of an egoist is someone who's not paying attention to me. So, so this is what Venus is doing here, and she's not being extremely cooperative or understanding as far as what the other person is reading. So that's adding to the angst of this particular problem as far as families go, as far as couples go. Well, this is far away from my big picture, but it's playing in because the conflict is there. It's an underlying red thread that's keeping all of our actions in in composite with each other. And so it's difficult to separate the big picture from the little picture here. One that's going to be extremely difficult, and again, all month long, we have a square from Saturn to Jupiter. Now, when we see conflict in between Jupiter and Saturn, it's growth, expansion of Jupiter that's coming straight into the wall of restriction on Saturn's part. So what happens is, what I want to do really badly, Saturn, that is to say, authority, power, people who are ultimately in control of my dreams are saying, no, forget it. And the energies involved here from Neptune to Gemini are saying that power is winning over law. Jupiter is in a weak position in Gemini these days. And so it doesn't have the strength of its convictions. It doesn't have this power to say, look, I can overwhelm, I can overcome your authoritarian mode. It's not. And for the moment, in any case, and for, well, this month, the power struggle seems to go in the direction of the people in power. So we're going to see a very slow progress in also in medical treatments. Jupiter is in charge of medicine. This is the doctor, the lawyer, the Indian chief. All of these fellows that walking around in robes are under the aegis of Jupiter. And so when we see this square, we know that medical treatments are going to be slow in doing what they're supposed to be doing this month. Architectural projects, building projects, same problem with Jupiter. All of these are Jupiter domains and will complicate legal proceedings as well. Thinking especially conflicts, litigation, contracts. Please don't get involved in renewing contracts this month. It's not, they're not going to work in your favor.
Wow.
Yeah, this is, and there is a few days that are difficult here, particularly the 23rd of November, the 30th also, and the 1st of December, the 7th and 8th of December, 13 and 14 December and the 20th of December are not good days to be undertaking an important medical treatment or to have court dates, for instance. This is not in the cards.
Okay, good to know. Glad I signed my book contract last Friday.
Yes, I'm glad you did too, because yeah, you don't want to do anything important as far as again, contract dealings, legal dealings. This can be particularly hard, I must say, if you're having to defend uh your copyright draw adaptation, whatever you have to fight for. This is not a good time to do it. If everything's going more or less amicably, why that's fine. But it looks like there's a lot of underscoring power play
Yeah.
going on in contracting things these days. So the while we're talking about the big picture, though, Uranus as well is acting rather strange, especially this end of November till the end of November, is acting very nicely with getting back, getting things evened out in couples, in setting up house and so on. Jupiter can be quite helpful, but in overall in domestic affairs, especially the correct or legal solutions, good compromise, have real trouble winning over authoritarian or ideological arguments. So we're getting back to, well, politics right now. The heavy-handed ideological positions that are extremely hard logically to defend are winning the day, and it's just hard for us to sit this out and allow things to um, get out of hand, from any logical point of view. It's just going to be that kind of a month. Yeah. So we're going to have to sit this one out for a little while as well.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, that is all very good to know. You talked about the retrograde, Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Mars is going retrograde a little later in the month, but that's, well, old news. It's old news as far as Mars is concerned. It's just the same old, the same old conflicts are coming up to the surface. All the old arguments and the old griefs are more and more active right now and will be at the end of the month.
Mm,
The one that the retrograde movement that concerns us more pertinently maybe is Mercury, that's going to be retrograde from the 26th of November through the 15th of December. So you know the rules.
mm.
Check your mail, send everything twice, send any important messages confidential and 3 times. Put your packages in the mail, Christmas packages in the mail early. Get all that done as quickly as you can, as fast as you can, and as gently as you can, because under the Mercury retrograde, all communication, all exchange, postal exchange, internet exchange, can go really wacky. So get ready for that.
I know with each particular Mercury retrograde, there's like a flavor for it, right? There's
Oh
like a
yeah,
right. So this particular Mercury retrograde, I don't know, what's the zeitgeist for that?
it's it's in Sagittarius. The whole affair is happening in the sign of Sagittarius. So travel plans are have to be really, really carefully
Oh,
checked.
right. Sagittarius travel, of course.
Sagittarius travel, um, signing up for future courses in school, university, uh, continuing education, things like that for next semester. Do it early, get it right. There's room for a lot of wackiness too in setting up these class programs. Travel is extremely important there. We're going to see a lot of, especially around the holidays. It's always a time when people are looking carefully at their religious beliefs. Sagittarius also has to deal with our theology, our basic personal myths, and what's involved. This is an excellent time to be looking carefully at what we really believe as far as spirituality, looking at our own belief systems. Interesting time to be doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the main sense of Sagittarius. This said, it's a mutable sign. This is a sign that's it's more of a brush fire than a nice barbecue braise that you have going to be cooking on for a long time. So things move fast, things get out of control fast. You can usually rein them in fairly fast as well. But if you can avoid a lot of that necessary activity, why it's so much the better.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Mars retrograde, when does that go retrograde?
Let's see. Mars is going retrograde. I think it's pretty early on, around the 1st of December, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, and how long does it last?
Oh, Mars will be a little longer than the Mercury. It's a couple of months. I'll have to look at that more closely, but yeah, a couple of months until the sun is moving ahead of Mars now, and it's getting out of alignment. So it's going to be a little while, a couple of months.
Okay. Good to know. Doesn't sound.
When we come back to Venus for just a minute, because Venus is going to be making an opposition, fairly close opposition, from the 7th to the 20th of December. Now, this is Venus Mars, the old couple. Now, when they're opposite like this, there's always an attraction, but there's also a repulsion, especially as Mars is in retrograde. So this is a time when you might be taking up old quarrels with old lovers or old friends. Uh, there's help on the way. Mercury is in a very good position to be healing these old quarrels as well. There's a way to talk things out. This is an excellent time if you have to have confrontation. Sit down over a glass of wine and check things out carefully. It's a time to have logical and reasonable discussion, even on old, very inflammatory disagreements. So the Mercury is going to be a big help. One day that's important is the 18th of December.
Mhm. What happens then? What's going on?
Well, Venus, no, the moon is visiting this opposition. I think it's in connection with the Venus. So we have Venus and Moon opposite Mars. This gets pretty hot, family wise. The moon is talking about family discussions as well. Some old reminiscences could be very nice, but there's also room for, again, this sort of yes, but do you remember when you did this? And yes, I remember when you did that. And it can get a little out of hand. Be calm, be nice to each other. It's an excellent time to get things back together if everyone can just get over their egos and their old, old positions. Now, those are some of the main things I wanted to look at. With this opposition Mars-Pluto that looks kind of nasty, there is one day in here, the 30th of November, that I found useful. This is a visit from the moon. Um, and these planets are in nice alignment with the sun and the moon. That I think can be extremely useful for discussion, at least. I'm thinking again on the world uh, war, different scenes of war. This is a very good day, could be a good day for a discussion for the Swiss diplomats to come to the fore and say, oh, yes, come to Geneva and we'll talk it out, this kind of thing. I think we're going to see a few meetings like this, or at least a few offers of a peaceful situation to discuss matters through the month. But the 30th of November does look nice, I must say. We'll keep our fingers crossed. We
Just
always have
a
to
moment,
keep our
please.
fingers crossed as soon as we're talking about human behavior.
Right.
Yeah, we were on to the moon that's got a nice opening, a nice window for us on the 30th of November, as far as discussion, reconciliation, possible negotiation on various levels, of course, of these conflicts that are going on around us. There's another very nice position of Venus with Uranus, with Neptune, from the 30th of November through the 7th of December. Now, this is an excellent time. The 4th of December gets a little help from the moon. Uh, these planets will be in alignment with Pluto and with Ceres from the 6th to the 16th. What we have going on is a very nice window, a really nice room, actually, for new ideals and new treatment in finance, also in romance. A lot of help from Jupiter. So we're seeing friendships that take on a more solid form, uh, financial dealings that have a lot of help from good, solid uh, uh, advice, and a lot of help from Jupiter in that. And so this could be a very nice week on a personal level, in any case, to be getting some new ideals and new ideas working for us. A lot of newness with Uranus, of course. It always brings on, why didn't I think of that? Or some new person that intervenes and has, something to add to our particular pot.
And that's around November 30th, you said.
Yes, yes. So this works very well with this very nice moon. That's one day, but this week is particularly fertile as far as our own personal finances, our own personal romantic interests.
Okay.
Great, great time to be out and about doing some pre-holiday holidaying.
I do like that a lot. And I
I'm
see,
saying, I'm thinking this is not a bad idea all month, actually. Take care of yourself, take care of your friends, have a good time, uh, keep out of domestic fights to the extent that you can, um, with the idea that you're probably going right into the wall in any case, as soon as you see a big brother wanting to come and knock down all your dominoes. So it's a very good time to just be taking care of business in the family, for yourself. Look over carefully any medical treatments, especially elective surgery. I'm not crazy about this month, just because.
good to know. Good to know. I've got a couple of clients I'm thinking of.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, if we can put these off for a little while, I'm thinking January is going to be healthier for that kind of work. We'll have a look at that. But yeah, anyway, this month is just too hot to handle.
Right, right. Looking ahead, I'm working on a predictions panel for the Kansas City Metaphysical Fair this weekend on Saturday night. Something my guides have been kind of dripping to me is the thought of heart disease and major breakthroughs in the treatment of heart disease. What is in the new year? What does that look like?
Well, that's fantastic. We come back to this Mars in the sign of Leo.
Mm-hmm.
This is Mars. This is heart. Leo is in charge of heart and back disorders, but yeah, heart conditions in general.
Mm-hmm.
So with Mars opposite Pluto, yes, there will be stress. am thinking of people, especially my Leos and my Aquarians, who are already sensitive on this level. They can be seeing some stress, but certainly this opposition is going to make a call for new treatment, for a new approach to some surgeries. There's going to be a huge development, I think, in this kind of work. I find that very exciting.
Yeah, yeah, they were talking to me about that this morning, and so it's just like I said, just kind of the inklings. I need to work with them a little bit more and solidify this. But it looks like new
Uh-huh.
inventions, new research that's going to be very helpful, but not available to the general public for a while.
No, no, certainly not. And with the square from Saturn to Jupiter, among other things, there are going to be all sorts of legal and ethical attachments to these questions. I think it won't be ex easy for these new treatments to become even legal in a certain sense. We'll have to see what's involved. But as soon as we're talking about, oh, I don't know, artificial intelligence, planting robots, or playing with the genome, why there will be all kinds of legal and ethical questions coming up that are going to push off a general election to this kind of treatment.
Yes, that's what I'm hearing as well. Um, Wonderful. Anything else that we need to know about in the period of Sagittarius?
I'm just saying, keep cool. We're going to be riding out, and it's not an excellent time to be feeling passive, but it's not a particularly useful time to be feeling very active either. As far as uh, especially legalistic fights, as I said, contract arguments and so on, they're just not working for us right now. So if we can put off any major decisions in this line until the new year, we're going to be better off. Yeah, we'll just have to be mutable. You know, the mutable signs call for flexibility. They call for adaptability. And that's really the best thing we can do for ourselves and for the society, probably, is to have faith in the universe and let things take their stride gently through this month.
Right, right, right. Like I said, it's like looking at the weather forecast and planning accordingly, planning ahead. So,
That's it. All you say is, get your snow tires,
right, stock up on cannabis.
wax your skis,
No,
be
wonderful.
careful on the slopes, whatever. Be careful doing anything, driving too, under this Mercury retrograde. It's nasty. Mercury in Sagittarius is not nice. And it's not the best. So it's going to be doubly difficult to treat. Anyway, just be careful out there.
Careful out there. I think that is the theme for this month is careful out there.
Yeah,
So, again, this is a global report, everybody. To see how these things apply directly to you, you better get your chart done and have a consultation with Mary Jane to find
sure.
out how these things apply to you on a daily basis.
It'd be
All
a good idea. I'd love to see you.
right. Thank you so much, Mary Jane. See you again in Capricorn.
I'll be here. So long.